Hi, my name is Cristian Ricardo Maldonado Peña. I'm from the team 8 from the English class of the UTD. My team and I are going to introduce you to the England gastronomy. I'm going to make an English breakfast, or better known as full English. The tradition of making strong breakfast in England is very old, since the 14th century, when the nobility was the only one who can afford the prices for abundant food. But now it becomes a breakfast for all the people. Since the Industrial Revolution, the working class was able to afford the prices for a full meal, or the English breakfast. Now I'm going to cook the full English breakfast, and first I want to tell you that the quantity of the ingredients that we're gonna need, it depends entirely of how much do you want to eat. It won't change the flavor if you use less bacon or just one egg or two or three. It depends entirely of how much do you want to eat. The ingredients are beans and tomato sauce, eggs, oil and salt. Mushrooms, I recommend you to use 3 or 4. We're gonna need bacon and sausage or black pudding, but here in Mexico it's kinda difficult to get black pudding, so we're going to use sausage. First, you have to mix the beans with the tomato sauce. Make sure that they are well mixed. When the beans and the tomato sauce are well mixed, put it on the microwave for 1 minute. Next, we have to cut the mushrooms in 4 parts. We have to turn on the stove and put it on medium-low heat. Now we put oil in the pan. After waiting a few seconds for the pan to heat up, we add sausage or black pudding and the bacon. Black pudding is made with pig's blood, pork fat, and the cereal, but it's difficult to find it outside Europe. You have to flip the sausage and the bacon so they get well cooked and do not burn. Remove the bacon from the pan and put it on a plate with a paper towel to drain the excess of fat. We put the mushrooms in the pan. We're going to cook them with the fat that the bacon released, so it isn't necessary to use more oil. We put salt to taste to the mushrooms. Remember to move the mushrooms constantly. When the color of the mushroom changes, we remove them from the pan. When you're finished with the mushrooms, the sausage should be done, so you have to remove them from the pan. You can cook the eggs as you want. The most common is cooked as scrambled eggs or fried eggs. In my case, I will prepare fried eggs. So the first thing you have to do is break the egg. Now you add salt to the egg. When the egg looks like this, it will be ready, so you have to remove it from the pan. And finally, we serve on a plate and eat. The most common is to accompany breakfast with coffee or orange juice and a slice of bread. And this is the final result. It's a very delicious and very filling breakfast. I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is it for today. Thanks for watching.
The European Pastry Cookbook features a large number of cakes and fruit fillings. There are books on desserts from the 4th century, where recipes for apple pie are stuffed with other fruits, such as pear, were already collected. Among the written documentation on this subject, it is worth mentioning the cookbook The Form of Curie, published in 1390 by the cooks of Richard II of England. A recipe for apple pie appears on its pages. They call it Tartis in Apples. We could then say, in the absence of the other references, the apple pie has its origin in England. In fact, there is evidence of its spread. In the 14th century, through the British colonies, it is believed that this, with the French and Dutch, took her to the United States and other countries. The necessary ingredients to prepare an apple pie are flour, butter, peel and sliced apples, water, sugar, and cinnamon. The first step to make the apple pie is to peel the apples and then make the apple slices. Once we have the apples of that way, we proceed to add sugar and cinnamon. The second step is to make the dough with a bar and a half of butter, 2 cups of flour, and a half cup of water. After that, we mix everything until we have the dough similar to the one in the video. When we have the dough, we are going to expand it with a rolling pin or with our hands until it is a little thin to be able to place it inside the container as shown in the video. Once we have our dough in our container, we're going to place the apples that we had with cinnamon and sugar. Then we add 4 pieces of butter like in the video. Once we have placed the apple and the butter, we proceed to make the strips with the dough for the top part. Once we have the strips, we place them and unify them to the dough that we already had in the container with a fork. To finish, we add sugar all over the top as shown, and once the previous step is finished, we proceed to put it back in the oven until the dough is hard.
Hi, my name is Aluna Frey, and today we are going to prepare one of the things the most important in the gastronomy of England, and this thing is the traditional tea. And also we are going to prepare some cookies for accompany the tea. Come with me. Well, one of the tricks of British pastries are cookies, especially those that are usually called biscuits. So the ingredients are pastry flour, egg yolks, sugar, unsalted butter, salt, and lemon zest. Also, the utensils that we will need are a mixer, oven, table, bowl, spatulas, and baking trays. Now we will start cooking our traditional sugar biscuits. When we get our hands washed, we are going to start putting the butter into our bowl in this way. And also we are going to add the sugar with the butter in the bowl, obviously, and once we have it, we will begin to beat until it is a little fluffy. Helping with your whisk, continue beating for several minutes until it is fluffy and well integrated. And we are going to add the egg yolks and beat a little more. And also we are going to add to the flour and the salt and the lemon zest and beat something lightly, right, something like this. And we are going to continue beating for another several minutes. When we finish to integrate the dough with a firm spatula or with our hands, knead until you get a smooth texture and something like this, as you can see. So now we are going to take our roll and our table, but first we are going to put something or flour in the table, so that is it doesn't stick when we are going to expand the dough, and we are going to roll out with a roller and leaving a thickness of about 5 or 6 millimeters. And when we have something like this, we are going to take our of cookies, and we are going to cut out the cookies. So you can choose the form or the size, whatever you want. Well, after this, we are going to take our tray and we will stick it with a little butter to place the cookies there, and this will not stick in some case. Well, when we are finished to distribute on the trays the cookies, we are going to take it and bake for about 12 or 15 minutes until golden brown. When the time is out, we are going to wait a couple of minutes out of the oven and let cool completely on a rack. Meanwhile, we are going to start to prepare our traditional tea. First, we are going to put the hot water in our cup, and after this, we are going to take our tea bag and we are going to put it into the cup with the hot water, like this. So you can decorate and we are finished. But first, we have to know something about the tea. Well, the tea was first brought to Britain in early 17th century by the East India Company. It was an expensive product and one of the only for the rich, and often kept under lock and key. So there are currently almost 1,500 and different teas in Britain. They all vary in style, taste, and color. And we are finished. Enjoy it!
So we're gonna need beer, a cup of flour, a medium potato, a tablespoon of honey, salt and pepper, and obviously fish. So the first thing we have to do is to cut the potato into large pieces, but make sure you don't do it like really thick because they will take longer to cook. When they are ready, you're gonna put some water to boil, and you're gonna introduce the potatoes. Well, for the unbreaded, you put the flour, half of the beer, just half, and salt and pepper, the tablespoon of honey, and you mix it. When it's all mixed, you have to put the breaded into the fridge, because the breaded has to be really cold to the recipe works. So here we're putting it to the fridge. Meanwhile, we have to take out the potatoes of the boiled water and we put it to get cold. I cut the fish into tiny pieces because I like it that way, but you can put it just like the size of they are. Then we put the fish into the mix, obviously when it's really cold, and we prepared it to get into the pan with oil. We put oil into a pan until it's really hot. And it's already hot, we put the fish and after the potatoes. And that will be all. I hope you really enjoyed this recipe as much as I did.